Hello everyone. So today we will be solving Leetcode 1905 count sub-islands. So in this question we are given two grids containing ones and zeros. The ones indicate land and zero indicates the water bodies. So an island in grid 2 is considered a sub-island if there is an island in grid 1 that contains all the cells that make up this island in grid 2, and we have to return a number of such islands. So let us take this example. In this island can be considered as a sub-island of this bigger island because we have one, 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 one. Like all the ones here are same as all the ones here, and it could be considered a sub-island because this is bigger than or equal to this size of the island here. Next example, this and this could be considered as sub-island of this bigger island, and this island cannot be considered a sub-island of any of the islands here. So we return our answer as 3. This is one big island, this is second, and this is third. So we are concerned only with four directionally connected components. So this and this form two separate islands. So in the second example, this is not a sub-island of any of the islands here because there are only two islands here, and this does not form a sub-island of any both of these two islands here. But this island and this island could be considered as a sub-island of this bigger island, right? So our answer would be 2. So let us dry run it first before we get to coding. So yeah, so we have grade 1 and grade 2 here, and we have visited here. So how would we go about it? It's simple BFS. So we'll do BFS in grid 2. Let's see how it goes. So we'll start from row 0 and column 0 and iterate in grid 2 till we find a row and column where in grid 2 we have one, and similarly in grid 1 we have also one. So the here it's all zeros. This is the first um, location where we have one here and one here. So we'll call BFS on this thing, which is row is equals to 1 and column equals to 0. So uh, in my queue for the first BFS, I'll have row how much 1 and column how much 0, and we'll mark this as 1. So we'll call a separate BFS function for this. So in my queue I have 0 and 1. 0 and 1. This is a simple BFS. We'll continue doing BFS, but there is one catch in the BFS that as soon as we find the index or a location in which grid 2 has 1 but grid 1 doesn't have 1 in it, so we'll make a boolean found 0 equals to false. That is, we have to return 0 and not return 1 to the main function, but we'll have to do BFS on it still to mark it visited. For example, here, if we do if for example in this row 2 and column 1, here we have 1 here and we have 0 here, right? We now know that it's not a connected component, so we have to return 0, but we'll have to mark this one and this one as visited because in the next call uh, this one would be considered as a island because this and this is one. So to prevent this, we have to call BFS even though we know that we have to return 0. So let us do a dry run. So right now found 0 equals to false. So Q has 1 comma 0. Let me just name this if I can. Um, can I? No. Okay, let us leave as is. So 1 comma 0, we have already marked it visited. So we pop it and push all the ones nearby. So how many ones does it have? 4 directionally. So row is 1, column is 1. So 1 comma 1. So 1 comma 1, it's a fine index. So because 1 is here, 1 is here. Now we don't do anything. We just push the next index. We have to push this and this. So what do we push? 2, sorry, 1 comma 2, as well as this. This would be 2 comma 1, right? Yeah, 1 comma 2 and 2 comma 1. Sorry, we have to mark this visited as well, and mark this visited as well, and now this as well. Yeah, so we pop this out. This is 1 comma 2, right? This is fine index, so we do not touch found 0. So anything that is 1 nearby and it's not visited, so this one. So we also push 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. So 1 comma 3 we push in, right? So we pop this 2 comma 1 out. 2 comma 1 is an interesting index, 2 comma 1. So here we have 1 and here we have 0. So we make found 0 is equals to true. So now that we know that we have to return 0, but still we'll continue because we'll have to make um, this index as visited, right? So going through the indices which are nearby to it and which have not yet visited is this index. So which one is this index? 0, 1, 2, 3. So 3 comma 1. Yeah. So now we pop 1 comma 3 out. Where is 1 comma 3? 1, 0, 1, 2, 3 here. And this is a fine index because here 1 and 1. So we have to push two elements, this one and this one. This would be 1 comma 4. And this would be 2 comma 3. Okay. Then we pop 3 comma 1 out. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 3 comma 1 this. And since there is no nearby one that is not visited, we do not touch it. So we'll have and mark this one as visited as well, and this as well. Yeah. So we pop 1 comma 4 out. 1 comma 4 out, make it visited. There is nothing. This is a fine index as well. We do not have to touch found 0 as well. Now 2 comma 3. 2 comma 3 we mark it as 1 and pop it. And since this index is there, we have to push this index. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So we push 3 comma 3. Now only one element is there in the queue, so we pop it out, make it 1. And yeah, our queue is empty and we have successfully updated our visited array. Now in the next BFS, we already here. So we will come here in the next BFS. So in the queue, I'll put 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 comma 0, right? So in the same BFS, we pop this 4 comma 0 out. This is 1, this is 1, right? And we do not have any adjacent, and we made found 0 equals to false as well. Yeah, so we do not have any adjacent ones which are not visited. And since found 0 is equals to false, we return 1. So we have 1, right? Similarly here, when we come here, we do not have any of the adjacent ones which is nearby to this location. Plus, this is 1 here and this is 1 here. So 1 plus 1, which is 2. So we return 1 plus 1 equals to 2. It'll get more clear when we dive into the code. So let us code. Yeah, so hmm, let us begin with our for loop. So int n, let us take it as grid 1 dot size, and int m is equals to grid 0 dot size, grid 1 0. So this is our number of rows and this is our number of columns. So for in, we'll also have to make a visited array, right? So vector of vector in visited n comma vector in m comma 0. So for int I equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. For int j is equals to 0, j is less than m, j plus plus. So if if we have that grid 1 ij is 1 and grid 2 ij is also 1 and it's not visited yet, then what do? We mark it visited and call the BFS. So BFS will return either 1 or 0 depending on the boolean found 0. So we just do count plus equals to BFS of I, j, what else visited, grid 1 and grid 2. And finally we just return count. So let us write the BFS function. So it will return int BFS, it'll take int row, in column, what else, vector of vector in and visited and the grid 1 and grid 2. Yeah, so we make a queue containing a pair of int comma in queue. This is for row and column. So queue dot push row comma column, and now we can begin our BFS having bool found 0 equals to false right now, right? So while not q dot empty. Okay, so int row is equals to q dot front dot first, int column is equals to q dot front dot second, and we do q dot pop, and int dr4 is equals to 0 0 1 minus 1, and dc4 is equals to 1 minus 1 0 0. So for in I is equals to 0, I less than 4, I plus plus, what the value of new column is. This is we are iterating to the 4 directionally adjacent cells of the current row and column. So new row would be r plus dri, in new column would be column plus dci, and let us take an nm here as well. Yeah, so if it's valid if new row is greater than equals to 0 and a new row is less than n, and a new column is greater than equals to 0 and a new column is less than m, and it's not being visited yet, and what else, and grid 2 should have 1. If not visited and this, then only what we do, we mark it as visited, we put it in queue, and this is an important step. If grid 1 of new row and new column, that is if grid 1 grid 2 has 1 and grid 1 doesn't have 1, so we have to make found 0 equals to true so that we can return 0 afterwards, right? So found 0 equals to true, right? So after this, simply if found 0 return 0, otherwise just return 1. uh, yeah, so let us see if it's work. mm, Wait, intro column, visit vector factor and visited. Just a minute to go. uh, mm, Row column visited grid 1 and grid 2. Row column visited grid 1 grid 2. Just let us see. mm, oh, we haven't initialized count as 0. Yeah, so it's working fine. Let us submit and see. um just a minute. Did I make a silly error? Mm, oh, yeah, so if it is 0, only then we make found 0 equals to true. So let us run. Yeah, so submit and see. Yeah, it's working fine. Thank you.